As I pointed out at the hearing in Charleston, only in Kanawha County, except for New Hampshire, it's worse, but they have 400 people in their lower house, so they could not. They're a little bit different. But for states that have fewer than 400 people in their lower house, West Virginia is the worst, in my opinion, in the whole country. I live in the 30th district. We have 7 members. Several decades ago, we had 14 members. We elected everybody at large in Kanawha County. I want to go back to what the rest of the country, over 40 states have, which is single-member districts. Why? Not because I want to knock off Democrats. I am a Democrat. I'm on the Kanawha County Democratic Executive Committee. But I believe power should flow from the community at the lowest level up. And in my county of Kanawha, you have a bunch of people that live roughly in the same neighborhood who are in the delegation from the 30th. Then you have wide portions of Kanawha County where nobody lives and that is in the legislature. The Upper Kanawha Valley, which is roughly those of you like high school, Riverside High School, that attends here. That's where most of the biggest portion of Democratic votes come from in Kanawha County in terms of straight Democratic tickets. They have no member of the House of Delegates, and they have no member of the state Senate. I would at least like to make sure they'd have at least one member of the House of Delegates. St. Albans, where my ex-wife used to live, is that area. They have not had anybody for a number of years in the House of Delegates, even though they have more than 1% of the state's population. St. Albans attends here. So I'm working on that. But West Virginia, this is the chance. We hope this will be the year that we go to 100 single-member districts. Will that mean turnover? Yes. If you have people live in the same neighborhood and they both want to run for the House of Delegates, if you have single-member districts, that means for them, somebody won't be returning. On the other hand, it means in other parts in other communities, people will have a chance to have somebody in the House of Delegates, a reasonable chance. I've already submitted to this committee 3 different plans for redistricting the congressional districts, all very close to numerical equality. I plan to submit some more, but the first 3 have gone through the computers. And I've been working on Senate, redistricting for the state Senate. I put out a map about a month ago. I'm doing my final touches on exactly splitting the, there are only 7 counties that would be split under that plan. And all the others would not be split. Interestingly, under that plan, I would split Raleigh County. And say, why would you do that? I would split Kanawha County where I live. Why would you do that? Well, under my plan, Raleigh County would not only have 1 senator, it would actually have a chance at 2 senators. And the reason I did it, I had no preconceived notions. I simply worked with a calculator and tried to figure out how to comply with the state constitution. The state constitution means for congressional districts, you're supposed to approach numerical equality. For state senatorial districts, you're supposed to approach numerical equality. The exception is it said you couldn't cross county lines, but that was overruled by Baker v. Carr. So I've been trying to come up with a plan that cut the fewest counties and also resulted in approximate 109,000. To the nearest integer, it's 109,000 per state senatorial district. So for the southern part of the state, the problem is that before we started splitting up counties, there were 6 districts in the southern part of the state for a total of 12 senators. What's happened? We do not have the population to justify having 12. We have the population to justify having 10. I'm not including Kanawha. I'm just talking about the others. What was the old 5th, 6th, and 7th, and the old 9th, 10th, and 11th. Those were together, that they sent 12, with 6 of those senatorial districts, they sent 12. That was before Baker v. Carr was decided, which said that you can cross county lines if necessary to make the population at least within 10%. So what I did with the calculator, I worked on this for weeks before this whole process started in terms of the hearings. And what I found out is if you put all of Fayette, all of Greenbrier, all of Summers, and all of Monroe together, it is almost exactly 109,000, give or take a few hundred. If you put all of Wyoming, all of McDowell, all of Mingo, and all of Logan, it's almost exactly 109,000, give or take a few hundred. So what I would suggest, which is different than what has been done, would be, say, we'll have all of Mercer and the part of Raleigh that has Beckley in it, and the adjacent precincts, so it's contiguous. And I've worked out the final figures. It is about 109,000. That way, that guarantees Mercer County 1 senator, guarantees Raleigh 1 senator. In addition, the part of Raleigh County that isn't around Beckley, the more the Cole County areas, Big Branch, mine that area, and put that in with Boone, all of Lincoln, and part of Cabell. That's different the way it's been done. We are partially the captive of the way we've been numbering the state Senate districts. They've been changed so little for so many decades, it's really hard for people to see outside of the way that they've been doing it for years. But I submit this will comply with the state constitution. If people are mostly concerned about keeping in the same district they are and not making any changes, you have a hopeless challenge, because, as we said, those of you who went to the Williamson hearing, you heard some people say, well, let's expand the district, which is now designated the 6th, going in by adding more of Wayne. The difficulty is the southern districts are all way below 109,000. Probably the one we're in is well, let's just go over it. The one we're having this hearing in is called Senate District 9. It's all of Raleigh and part of Wyoming. So what is the total population according to the handout for Senate District 9? It's 99,759. So it's over 9,000 shy of what it should be. If you try to take from some of the other districts, Senate District 6 only has 93,502. Senate District 7 has 99,397. And so you have this problem that you can't, everybody wants to borrow from not make big changes. That people want to talk about borrowing from the district next to it. You can't do that in southern West Virginia. The simplest thing is to forget the district lines as they are and start all over again. And that will mean if that were to be implemented, which is what I'm suggesting, there would be some incumbent senators who would have to run against each other if they both wanted to stay in the Senate. It would also create some open seats elsewhere. But my position is this is not about protecting incumbents. It's not about protecting the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. It's supposed to be about having the power come from the people and have the numbers as equal as possible. So I will, within the next week, I will submit the final figures so that the redistricting office can plot it out on a map. But I appreciate the fact that we're having these hearings. It's very important for the people to come up and speak, because what this has normally been done in private. Now, I'd like to add one other thing. 10 years ago, I submitted a plan for Senate redistricting, and it would have, in Kanawha County, where I live, I said, okay, we need to have maybe a minimum of 3 and a possibility of a 4th. That's the same thing I'm saying now. We didn't have a justification for 4 senators, but the Senate passed it anyway. If you look at the figures from 2000 in your handout, you will see that the Senate did not try to get everybody near the same number. In that decision, which was, I think Senator Unger will say, done pretty much behind closed doors, you have a number of districts that are around 110 or 111,000. Then you have other districts that are around 101,000 or 100,000. Generally, the southern districts, the southern West Virginia districts have a lower population, and the Republican districts and the districts in the eastern part of the state have the higher population. This was not an accident. I'm not saying it was politically motivated to try to suppress Republicans, but I am saying it was to protect incumbents. Since the plan that I recommended was not adopted, and this other plan was adopted, and Senator Unger filed a challenge in the federal court, and I tried to assist him, but the 3-judge court didn't throw it out. Because the Senate came up with the plan it did, and it was not thrown out, now you have a much bigger hurdle this year, because you started out with the districts that were not of equal population, and they could have been made of equal population 10 years ago. You had the mathematical, you had the software, you had all this stuff that's wonderful. So instead of being used to make 17 senatorial districts of equal population, instead it was used to help justify having some of them around 101,000 and some of them around 110 or 111,000.